Comedian Bob Newhart has been making Americans laugh for generations and is one of TV's biggest stars.
Bob Newhart made middle-class America really funny. He's also the first solo straight man.
George Robert Newhart was born in Oak Park, Illinois on September 5, 1929. Shortly after graduating from Loyola University of Chicago in 1952, Newhart was drafted into the U.S. Army during the Korean War, but never saw combat. 2 years later, he returned to Chicago and worked as an accountant and ad copy editor.
Bob Newhart was interested in writing comedy bits, and he and a partner would write and perform conversations as though on the telephone, antic, unusual, funny things, silly things sometimes. One of these tapes made its way to the head of Warner Brothers Records, who was very impressed, who signed Bob Newhart to a contract.
Bob Newhart's first comedy record was a huge hit. The Button-Down Mind of Bob Newhart was the #1 comedy record of 1960, beating even Elvis on the music charts. At the Grammys that year, Newhart won Best New Artist, and his album won Album of the Year.
Bob Newhart became a staple on the variety show circuit on TV. He did the Dean Martin show a few times, he was on Judy Garland's show, he had his own show for a season, and then he became a regular guest host on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. In fact, he subbed for Johnny Carson about 87 times.
In 1961, Bob Newhart moved to Los Angeles and then married Virginia Quinn 2 years later. The couple would have 4 children together.
Newhart also worked on the silver screen. His first big screen role was a small part in 1962's Hell is for Heroes. And then later on in the 60s and the 70s, he started films like Hot Millions, Catch-22, and Cold Turkey, and they were all great.
Bob Newhart's greatest success came with his 2 smash hit sitcoms for CBS. The Bob Newhart Show, which ran from 1972 to 1978, and Newhart, which aired from 1982 to 1990.
The finale of Newhart in 1990, Bob's second show, was probably the best finale to a sitcom or any show of all time. No one expected that he was going to wake up in bed with Suzanne Pleshette, his wife from the first show. And it's really going to go down in history as just the ultimate shocker.
Newhart headlined another TV sitcom, Bob, in 1992, but that only lasted 1 season. Bob Newhart has won several awards, including comedy's highest honor, the Mark Twain Comedy Award, in 2002. Since then, Newhart has continued to work in films such as the hit Elf and TV such as his regular appearances on the hit show The Big Bang Theory.
Bob Newhart will be remembered in comedy as a pioneer because he showed that you didn't have to be laugh-out-loud funny. He had a dry, subtle humor that it took maybe a little intelligence to appreciate.
Without a doubt, Bob Newhart is one of America's best-loved comedians, and he is, in my opinion, the best deadpan comic out there.